Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, let's talk about running. But first, I want you to kind of forget everything you think you know about it. Today, we are going way beyond just talking about technique. We're actually decoding the body's entire running operating system. We're going to move past those old ideas of just pure muscle and grit and into a new, way more efficient model, one that runs on elastic energy and, well, just smarter biomechanics.
All right, let's dive right in. At the very heart of this new model, you've basically got two kinds of runners: the pusher and the bouncer. Now, the pusher, that feels like hard work, right? Grinding out every single step. But the bouncer, they just seem to float over the ground. Our goal here today is to help you become the bouncer by unlocking what a lot of experts are calling free speed.
And here's the real secret. This isn't about training harder, it's about training smarter. It's almost like we're installing a software update for your central nervous system, teaching it to work with your body's natural springs instead of fighting against them.
So, here's the crucial point. Those modern, high-tech running shoes, they are not just passive cushions for your feet. Think of them as active instruments, kind of like a finely tuned violin. And just like any instrument, your brain, your central nervous system, has to learn how to play it correctly to get the best sound, which, in our case, is getting the most energy return possible.
Wow, okay, so this slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? The contrast is so stark. Just look at the power source and that metabolic cost. Bouncers have short ground contact times, that's GCT, basically how long your foot is actually on the ground, and a high cadence. So why does that matter? Well, it's because they're not muscling their way through the stride. They are literally harnessing the body's natural elastic recoil. This right here is where that free energy comes from on every single step.
So let's get into the foundation and see how this all builds up. Because before you can even think about firing up this high-performance engine, you have got to build a stable and responsive chassis. And believe me, this is where the magic really begins.
And here it is. This slide gives us the entire blueprint for this modern running engine. It really shows how everything, from the foundation of your chassis all the way up to the power of your stride, is just one interconnected system. And the cool part is, getting one piece right makes the next piece work that much better.
So the first key setting for your chassis is cadence. We're aiming for over 180 steps per minute. Now, this is not just some arbitrary number someone picked. I want you to think of it as the perfect rhythm, the resonance frequency that lets your body's natural springs load and release energy in the most effective way. And the result? You spend way less time on the ground and more time flying forward.
But it's not just about how many steps you take, it's about where they land. Landing your foot directly under your hips, that's non-negotiable. If you reach your foot out in front of you, it is literally like slamming on the brakes with every single step. It just kills all of your forward momentum.
This simple cue, it's incredibly powerful. Just imagining you're running on a tightrope naturally narrows your stance, and that is absolutely essential for unlocking your hips. This lets them rotate freely, which, as we're about to see, is where the real power is generated.
Okay, so the science behind all this bounce has a name: the stretch shortening cycle, or SSC. The easiest way to think about it is to picture your Achilles tendon as a massive, powerful rubber band. When you land correctly, it stretches and stores a huge amount of elastic energy. Then as you push off for your next step, it just snaps back, catapulting you forward with hardly any muscular effort. That's the free energy we're talking about.
And this is the perfect analogy for it. A piston has to burn fuel to push with force every single time. But a pogo stick? It recycles the energy from the last balance to power the next one. That's the exact feeling we are aiming for.
Okay, so the chassis is all set. Now, let's fire up the engine. We're about to show you the real source of your forward speed, and I'll give you a hint. It's probably not where you think it is. It's not in your calves.
So where does that forward propulsion truly come from? Most runners are conditioned to think it's their calves or their quads pushing off the ground. But the primary engine for your horizontal speed is actually hidden much higher up, right there in your core.
It all kicks off with your pelvis, which should really act like a revolving door. So as one knee drives forward, that same hip should rotate forward while the other one moves back. This subtle little rotation adds precious inches to your stride length without you having to overstride and slam on those brakes.
So what's spinning that revolving door? It's something we call the glute whip. This is an aggressive, powerful backward sweep of your entire thigh, and it's all driven by your glutes. It's not a push off the ground. It's a whip that literally projects your entire body forward through the air.
Okay, this next part is what connects the entire system.
We've built the chassis, we've fired up the core engine, and now we're going to reveal the secret link, the X factor that sinks your upper and lower body into one seriously powerful unit.
So, meet the posterior oblique sling, or POS. I want you to actually picture this, a giant elastic X stretched across your back. It connects your left shoulder to your right glute and your right shoulder to your left glute. This network of connective tissue, this fascial sling, is the master T that transfers energy and creates that beautiful, synchronized, powerful running form.
Now, if you remember just one thing from this entire explainer, please make it this formula. This is the single most actionable takeaway. When you powerfully drive your right elbow back, you are physically stretching and preloading that sling that's connected to your opposite glute, which forces it to fire harder and faster. Let that sink in for a second. Your arm swing directly and powerfully impacts your leg drive. It's a game changer.
So to really activate this system properly, your elbow drive is the throttle. And the vector is absolutely crucial. You have to drive it back and down, not up. Keep it low and tight to your body. The best analogy is to imagine you're hammering a nail into the wall right behind you. This isn't just about balance, this is about power generation.
All right, let's put it all together now. Because efficient running isn't some one-size-fits-all mechanic. Just like a car, you need different gears for different paces if you want to manage your energy and really maximize your efficiency. This table is fantastic because it shows how you can intelligently shift the muscular workload as you change your speed. Notice how the primary muscle being used changes. So for a slow recovery run, you're in first gear, a light glute shuffle. Then when you pick it up to marathon pace, it becomes more of a hamstring sweep. And for that all-out finishing kick, you engage that powerful toe catch, using gravity and your hip flexors to your full advantage.
So as you head out the door for your next run, don't think of this as some rigid, overwhelming list of rules you have to follow. Think of it more like a series of software updates you can install, one piece at a time. Maybe you just focus on your cadence, or maybe it's that elbow drive. The question is, which update are you going to try first?